Hello and welcome to all participants from all over the world. I see people from Argentina, Mexico, Brazil, and many other countries. Welcome to our monthly research talk, October, Meet the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation. It's a pleasure to have you with us. My name is Anne Knab, and I would invite now Andrea Berg to turn on her camera as well, because she is our special guest of today. Andrea Berg works for the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation. And just to give you some information about the foundation, the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation is one of the main funding organizations in Germany. The foundation has fellowships for outstanding scientists and scholars from all over the world to complete a research stay in Germany. And Andrea Berg, now she also turned on her camera, she will give you more information about the foundation in a second. So yeah, thanks for all participants, and I see there are still some more guests coming in. Before we start with Andrea Berg, I would like to learn, or we would like to get to know you a little bit better as well, because as you, one important information about our talk today is that we will talk almost only about funding programs from the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation, as we have an expert with us from this foundation. And the Humboldt Foundation doesn't have scholarships for PhD students, am I correct, Frau Berg? Okay,
correct,
so
yes.
this session today is only relevant for you if you're a PhD holder already and are interested in postdoc funding programs or funding programs for senior scientists. We have also online talks that are for master students who are interested in PhD studies, or people who are interested in Germany as a research landscape in general, about many topics. But today we will talk about the Humboldt Foundation scholarship. But I see many of you are PhD doctorate holders, so this is the relevant session for you. I'm very happy that we met the correct target group with you, so that's wonderful. So thanks for giving me this feedback. And before I pass the microphone to Andrea Berg, just one more information. This session takes half an hour. And Andrea Berg will now give an introduction into the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation, a very short introduction. And then you are welcome to ask all your questions about the Humboldt Foundation's programs, and you can ask the questions in the chat. Also, this session will be recorded and published afterwards on the website I posted here. And now I would like to give the floor to Andrea Berg and her presentation. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrea Berg, and I would like to introduce myself first. I work for the selection department of the Humboldt Foundation. Our subdivision advice deals with questions of prospective applicants. I would now like to give you a short presentation on the key sponsorship programs of the Humboldt Foundation. Sponsorship decisions are solely based on the applicant's achievements and qualifications to date. Our focus is on the individual person, his or her academic achievements. Therefore, we have no quotas, neither for countries nor for disciplines. We want to give the fellows as much freedom as possible to carry out their individual research project they have chosen themselves. They will also have the freedom to choose host institutions themselves. Equal opportunities for female academics is an important issue for the Humboldt Foundation. So we have introduced measures which especially target families. Here you have an overview of the main programs we offer. On the left column, you see the career stages up to 12 years after the PhD for the research fellowship programs, then followed by the internationally renowned academics programs, the award programs. In the middle column, you see the programs we offer for academics from abroad who wish to conduct research in Germany. So that's you, basically. We offer the Humboldt and the Georg Forster Research Fellowship. For those academics from Germany who wish to conduct research abroad, we offer the Theodor Lühn Research Fellowship Program. In this presentation, I will focus on the outgoing program, which means the Humboldt or the Georg Forster Research Fellowship Program. The main difference between those two programs is that for the Georg Forster Research Fellowship Program, you need to have the nationality and focal point of residence in a developing and emerging country. On our homepage, you'll find a list of these countries. And the research must be of relevance to development and particularly suited to the transfer of knowledge and methods to the developing country. Both programs have two program lines. The PostDocs, up to 4 years after the PhD, you can apply for research days from 6 to 24 months. And the experienced researchers, up to 12 years after the PhD, you can apply for research stay between 6 and 18 months, but you're able to divide these days. And as an experienced researcher, you will receive more money. An application without a host is not possible. If you ask yourself, how can I find a host? You can turn to our FAQ, or you can ask your superiors, others from the university to find a host. And the host will receive a subsidy towards the research costs. Now, some information on the application requirements and benefits. So, how do you apply? On our homepage, you'll find links which lead you to the registration. You have to register first, then you will have access to the application form and the hints for a complete application. There are no deadlines. You can apply at any time during the year. After you have submitted your complete application, it takes 4 to 7 months to process them until they can be presented to the next selection committee meeting. Their decision will be taken. And then it may take another 2 to 3 months after the positive decision until you can start the fellowship. So here is my advice to you. Start early, plan ahead. You should begin with the application about a year before you would wish to start the fellowship. We offer comprehensive sponsorship benefits for the research fellows, for the fellow himself, herself, and the family during the fellowship. And we also offer alumni programs because our aim is to sponsor on a long-term basis. So if you have any questions, you can turn to our website. Here you will find the help desk, the advice team, which can help you with any questions, or of course you can also ask me directly. Thank you very much for listening to this short presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrea Berg, for this short presentation. I think this was a really helpful overview. If I can repeat the most important information. So there are no quotas for research areas, and you can apply at any time. And it's recommendable to start early with the application. And perhaps I might add something that I mentioned before, but as we have new participants, just to give you an information, Andrea Berg is from the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation, and her organization funds research stays, the mobility of researchers in Germany. But it starts with postdocs scholarships. So, and I see that so far, I think there are no questions in the chat. I didn't see any questions, but now there's the first question. So, and I'm asking it to you directly, Andrea Berg. The question is, can current PhD students apply? So this person that's asking the question is still in the
Yes.
process of finalizing the thesis. So can he or she apply already at this stage?
Yes, this is a very important question. You can apply about 6 months before you will receive the PhD. And for us, the PhD is usually the defense doctoral visa. That's and not the date you will receive the written document from university. So 6 months before you can apply. If this is the case, you cannot upload a doctoral certificate yet, but you have to upload a letter from your supervisor or university and stating that you will finish your PhD soon. And you cannot start the fellowship before you have really obtained the PhD. But since the
Okay, thank
process
you.
takes such a long
The
time, that
next
should
question
normally not be
is
a
a very
problem.
specific question. The applications in Georg Forster research fellowships are usually processed within 4 to 8 months. Is it possible to apply for both AVH and DFG and DAAD simultaneously?
For us, that's no problem. You can apply for our fellowships or jobs or other fellowship from other organizations, no problem. You have, however, inform us about, and you cannot receive more than one fellowship at a time. So if you select our fellowship, then of course
Thank
you
you.
cannot take a
Yeah,
fellowship from the
it's the same for the DAD. Of
DFG or
course, you can
whatever.
apply for several scholarships, but you cannot receive more than one scholarship at the same time. So the next question is, where do I find application templates for experienced researchers?
So we have no templates. You can register and then you will have access to the application form. And there you will find all the relevant information. But concerning the research outline you have to write, there's no template. You only have to follow the hints there. 5 pages, for example, but we have no templates or something like
Okay,
that
thanks. I think
because we want to
some
give the
organizations
fellows
have
freedom
something like a
to write
form
it.
that can be filled in or something like this, but yeah, it's good to know that this doesn't exist. Yeah. Ah, okay.
Yeah, we have
Okay,
the
thanks.
application form, but
Thanks
then
for
you have to register,
the
then you have access
specification.
to it. Yes.
Um, okay, here is a question. I think we answered that before, but perhaps because there were some people coming a little bit later after your presentation. So, what are the research areas that are funded by the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation? Just a short repetition. Um,
All fields of
yeah.
study, all fields of study, no restriction. It has to be innovative, it has to be interesting. If it's archaeology or
I think
astrophysics,
that's
whatever
something that's
is
really, yeah,
a
also
field of
special
research.
compared to many other funding organizations. It's this DAD, for example, also usually doesn't have any
Yes.
restrictions, but there are other funding organizations that only fund specific subjects. Um, okay, and the next question is if the candidate is active in research and publications, um, do so do you compromise the 4 years of time after the PhD? So I understand, is the 4 year rule very strict? That's how I understand the question. Um,
Yes, this is correct. It's really from the date. We can really go by the exact date. The day You receive the PhD until the date the application has been received at the foundation. That's the 4-year rule. Of course, we have exception, for example, for childcare, parent care, or severe illnesses, something like that. That will take into consideration. But although we have the postdoc program line and the experience, it doesn't mean if you're 3 days after the limit and have to apply for experienced researcher, we expect from you the same list of publication than from someone after 10 years after the PhD. So we'll take the career stage into account. So you don't have to worry if you're just a little bit over it, that now you're expected to be a professor.
Thank you.
Or whatever.
I was reading while you were
case.
answering also the questions. So I'm not really sure. Did you mention the COVID situation? Is it considered somehow in the application? How do you see this? Yeah. Yeah. Hmm?
Yes, it is. That can also be taken into consideration as time, like for example for childcare. Yes, because we understand
Okay.
that when you have a shutdown of a lab, you cannot work. Yes, but in this case, it's always good to send a CV with a list of publications. Explain the
Okay, thank you
period
so
of
much
time
for this
you couldn't work
yeah,
because of the COVID
explanation.
situation.
There's a question concerning language. So thank you so much for this talk. Is it mandatory to be certified in German language?
Well, that just depends. If you do not need to know German to conduct your research in Germany successfully, that's usually the natural sciences, then you do not have to provide a German language certificate. And for everybody, no English certificate is needed. If you are, however, a doctor and you have to work with patients, or you're from the social sciences or the humanities and you need to know German to conduct your research successfully, then you have to provide a German language certificate. You'll find information in our FAQs, you can either use our language, we have this kind of a template, you can use that and ask a teacher of German to sign it, or
Okay,
if you
thank
have
you.
taken any
There are
German
so many
classes or
interesting
tests, you can
questions.
also use that.
The topics are a little bit mixed now, but I will just go from question to question. I think they're really interesting for many people. So the next question is, I think perhaps I misunderstood the question of Marcio before. So it is, do experienced researchers need to be employed in their country? So I understand it the ways that, yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, well, uh, well, the thing is, you have to be
Mhm.
staying outside of Germany if you wish to
Yeah,
apply for
we
this
hear you. We hear
program.
you. Hmm?
Um,
Uh,
Hello? Can you see me?
Oh, perhaps it's the
Yes, but
screensaver.
I cannot see you anymore, and oh, that's the problem.
Okay.
Just a moment,
Uh,
please. Yes, just a moment, please.
no
No,
problem.
my monitor wanted to go asleep, so that was the problem. I'm very sorry. I should have clicked something. So, okay, I'm back. You have to be abroad, not be staying in Germany and not be working for a German institution. That's also important. It would be advisable to be employed at a university or research institution in your home country or in a foreign country. If you're at the moment just unemployed, that happens, of course, but that you can still
Yeah,
apply
I
as
also
long
was not
as
sure if it
you're an
was
experienced
regarding to the
researcher.
question of
That
being
was the
employed
question.
or to the question of the location. But you answered both questions, so that's perfect. Thank you. Yeah, and you also answered the question because that was asked
Okay.
by many people. What happens if I'm currently in Germany? So it's not
Yes.
possible to apply if the researchers are currently in Germany. Yeah.
Yes, yes, that's not an important question. So you can apply if you're already in Germany, but only if you have been staying in Germany for less
Okay.
than six months at the time of application. So, and you also, if you have stayed in Germany before, in other purposes, please contact me or the advice team, but the other regulations. But I'll stick to the most
Okay, thank
important.
you. That was
If you're
very
already
clear. And
staying in
I think it's
Germany,
good to
it's
point
the
out
6 month rule.
that we have the website of your team, and it's not only you who give counseling for the application procedure, but you have many colleagues who do this too, and they can be contacted and will help with every question. But
Yeah.
we still have some time here as well. That's why I will skip to the next question by Ali. And he writes, regarding the deadline of Georg Foster Research Fellowship, the selection committee responsible for reviewing applications to this program meets every February, June, and October. Does this mean the deadlines are beginning at the beginning of February, June, and October? Mhm.
No. If you apply now for the Georg Foster or the Humboldt, you have a chance to get in the February or March meeting because it's 4 to 7 months before the next meeting. It's too late for the October, November, so it's February the next
Okay,
one. So
thanks
if you
for
apply
pointing
now,
this out
there's a
really
chance for the
clearly.
spring meeting.
Yeah, yeah, but that's why we are talking about this now. I
It
think
is
sometimes
difficult, I
there are
know.
misunderstandings, and it's easy to talk about those, yeah, perhaps details in an online talk. So it's yeah, it's really that what for this session happens right now. By the way, because there's so many participants, we can only answer the questions from the chat. I see that some of you are raising the hands or are asking for microphone rights, but we're too many people for this, so I ask you for your kindly ask for your understanding that we only read the questions from the chat. And of course, there will be the possibility to contact Andrea Berg and her team later for further questions. Um, so, I'm skipping a little bit through the question. Perhaps a further, yeah, going more into detail because of the 4-year rule. So the 4-year rule is for the postdoc fellowship. What about the experienced researchers? Is there also a deadline? Um, okay.
Yes, the 12 years.
Hmm.
It's up to 4 years for the postdocs and up to 12 years
Okay,
for the
thanks.
experienced researchers.
Then a question
So
about the
it's a
host
12-year
university.
deadline for the
We haven't
experienced.
spoken very much about the host universities right now, so that's why I think that's also a very interesting question. Um, can the host university in Germany be an international institute like the I don't know how it's spoken, UNU Flores in Dresden, or the German Development Institute in Bonn? Um, I think those are international institutions, but with a German, yeah, still their organization is a German organization, but I don't know if, yeah. Do you have any? Oh, no, no,
So the
perfect. I think
organization is not
I think
important.
you're
The
already
first years,
answering my question. That's
oh, I'm
good.
sorry, I should wait. Okay, okay, I'm sorry. So the host, it's not the host.
Hmm.
So host institution has to be
Oh,
located
okay.
in Germany. It doesn't matter if it's a German or a foreign, whatever. has to be located in Germany. And the host has to be working at a German research institution or at a German university. So it has to be a research institution. Research has to be done there, and the host has to be able to provide a host statement and a confirmation that research facilities are available. So that's the important thing, is that research has to be done there, and it has to be located in Germany, and the
Okay,
host
thank
has
you.
to be working
That's
for
interesting.
the
I didn't
university or
know this, so
research
that the
institution.
location is one of the main criteria. So that's good to know. Thanks. So a further question about the host universities. Is there a guideline on which kind of institutions are preferred? Can, for instance, the Technische Hochschule Köln be allowed or only universities?
Oh, you might the question about applied university, the Fachhochschulen. That's no problem. Research
Okay,
is
great.
conducted there. You
I
can
think it's
also
the same
use a
also
host from
for
a Fachhochschule.
non-university research
That's
institutions,
possible.
right? So as long as it's a research institution, um, probably it's no problem. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's uh-huh.
Yes, yes, of course
Okay,
it can
great.
be. Max
So
Planck, for example.
I
Yeah,
think I almost answered all questions. Um, okay, that's also a special question, but might be interesting also for many people, or for some people at least. Is it possible to perform small parts of the research outside from Germany? For example, a short field work short field work outside of Germany.
that's a very good question. The field work is a problem. So if you have to do field work, do it before you start the fellowship. What we, however, offer is the possibility. Europe Research Stay, you can stay, I think it's 20 to 25% of the period you have requested in a country. In a European country, you'll find the list, what we consider Europe, on our homepage, and you can do research there. But if you want to do field work or you go outside of these European countries, you have to interrupt the fellowship, you have to pay for your trip there and back.
Okay,
So
so
that's
that's a
why it's advisable to do field
no
work
problem.
before you start the fellowship. And another thing, I saw that on one of the questions about the mobility rule. So if you have been staying in Germany for more than 6 months, you cannot apply now. So what you have to do is you go back to your home country, stay there for at least 1 year, and then you can apply again. It's six. You have to stay in an 18-month period. You have
Thank
to
you so much.
stay 12 months outside
That's
of
really good
Germany.
because there was somebody asking these
It's
questions
complicated, so I always say
a
it
question
differently.
before, and I would have come back to this anyway because how long the question was how long to stay outside of Germany before being able to apply for fellowships. So thanks for
Yeah.
answering this. Um, so here's also an important question, although it's a totally different field. I am single and I am care of my mother. Is it possible to receive economical help for her if I receive a fellowship?
No, this is unfortunately not possible. If she has taken care of her mother, you can use these times as times of interruption. So before concerning the career stage, but we cannot give money to support parents or other
Okay,
dependents. It's only the spouse and the children. We could, of course, if this is the case, see if selected and she will have to interrupt or something, we may be
hmm
able to find
okay,
a
yeah, thank
special
you.
solution,
I
but with
understand
money,
that
this
there
would
are,
not be possible.
of course, for every scholarship, just regulations, and up to now they just don't cover this. So, but it's good to know that you um, yeah, try to be as flexible as possible with those regulations. Thank you. So we only have a few minutes left. I would, as there are still some interesting questions coming in, perhaps, yeah, perhaps extend the session for a few more minutes, but not more than 3:05. So let's have a look at the questions. Yeah, I don't know if we answered this question also, this special question. How much time is it from application until decision? It's definitely more than 4 months, I would say. But could you say more or less? Ah, okay, 4 to 6. Okay.
It
Mm,
is between 4 to 7 months. It
four to
just
seven months.
it
Okay, so four
depends
months would be
how
the fastest
it's four to
decision
four to
possible.
7 months.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Um, or is it not really? Yeah, okay.
Yes. Yes.
Um, so how much time is there from, oh no, I just read this one. I wanted to read, what is the fellowship duration for experienced researchers?
This was on the presentation. It's 6 to 18 months, but they can be divided in stays for up to 3 stays, and each stay has to be at least 3 months, and in a, I
Okay,
think,
thank you.
3 years
Um,
period. So it's possible to divide
then
them.
a question about family. No, more or less, if we receive a fellowship, is it possible to apply for our family for via the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation for a visa? So do you support with the visa applications?
So the selection department will help you in for the visa question, give you advice how to do it. But
Okay, thank
that's
you.
usually the case to
There's a
get a
question that was
dependent visa.
posted
So
several
that's
times.
possible.
I
Yes.
think we answered this question already, but because it was posted again here, I'm reading it again. So does the selection process consider regional placement, the home countries of the applicants? Um, I understand it the way, are you looking? I understand it the way, does it make a
I do
difference
not
from which
understand this
country I
question.
am applying? And I think we answered this already, that that doesn't make a difference, right? Because it's about the academic excellence. Oh yeah, the Georg.
No, it doesn't. The Georg Foster, but the Georg Foster is especially for persons from a developing country. So because we know they have more difficulties to publish and to do their research. So because we know that, we have this special program. But if you're from um, we do understand that for certain countries it's even more difficult to publish
Oh,
and
okay.
to do
Then sorry
research.
for
And this, of
answering
course, will be
the
taken into
question. It's
consideration.
good that you corrected this. My apologies. So I think I will only read two more questions because yeah, the time is running. Um, so, do I need a strong experience in publication when applying for a postdoc?
Yes, so publications are a very important selection criteria. You should really look at your international peers and from the same career stage and the same field of studies, and you should be some, let's say, the top 5. So you just see how many publications does another peer would have, and you should have just
Okay, thank you. Thank you
some
so
more.
much.
So it is a
So
very
one of the
important
questions
selection
that's
criteria.
was asked, I can answer because the question is if there are no scholarships for the PhD, and of course there are in Germany PhD scholarships, but they are not offered by the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation. They start with postdoc scholarships,
For you.
but I'm posting a website here where we have online talks on other
Yes.
topics, and also for PhD in Germany, and you can look this up. And now the last question. So perhaps you can also have a look and pick a question that you think that's interesting, that we haven't answered so far. I think I see a question about age limit. So is there a range of ages to be eligible?
No, no, there is no age limit. We have now the career stages. So it's up to 4 years for the postdocs, up to
Okay, thank
12
you.
years
And I
for the
think now we have
experience.
3:05,
Doesn't matter how
three,
old you
and
are.
um, yeah, I think we can close this session now. But before we say goodbye, I would like to finish or close the session with top tips from our side. And my top tip would be, if there's a question that hasn't been answered to you now, and if you have general questions about doing research in Germany, visit our website. That's posted here also, research-in-germany.org. And we have also, yeah, uh, tons of information for you about many different scholarship organizations, and also general yeah, research funding organizations, research performing organizations, and open positions as well. And yeah, what is your take-home message of today, Andrea Berg? Do you have a take-home message for the?
So I would say for me it was very interesting, and thank you very much for such an overwhelming participation and so many very good questions. I hope I could answer them all. If not, you may contact me or the advice team. And the most important thing is, if you have any questions, ask them, and I hope we
Thank
will
you so much,
receive
Andrea Berg. I
your
can
application
only
for one
say
of the
that it
programs
was the
soon.
same for
Thank you.
me. Thanks to the participants. I also thought that were great questions. I'm happy that we could have this session. The next session will be on the first Tuesday of November, which will be hosted then by, or the presenter then will be from the German Research Foundation, and would be great to meet you again. And yeah, with these words, I would like to say goodbye to you, but please don't close the window now, because we also have a feedback poll, and it would be great if you could take a few seconds to answer this. Yeah, but thanks a lot for your participation. We're looking forward to meeting you soon again. Goodbye.